compare and contrast. And let me tell you fast. And in my conclusion, I see most black men as jack. But since the days of slavery, black man heart is hard like stone. Cause it's black man who make black man cruel. Cause black man never like he old. That's why since last election, crow grieving. Look at how all you treat Patrick Manning. The way all you run him, cuss him and tell him go. I never see the Indian street bars they pan the so. When pan the thief and Mac Nicol switch pan the tail. Indians went and they candlelight vigil by the jail. So on behalf of a few good niggas that I know, or you should never ever treat Mr. Manning so. Shame on you, Daga, Errol McLeod, and Neil Rumcock and Obika. The way all you destroy the black brother, you are for prostitutes of black power. Look at how all you get weak. McLeod I now choking him, he could hardly speak. I'm so disappointed in you, black man. All you said can lick bottom African. All you ain't shame. Give back the African man his name. You get a big white police commissioner. Where are the advocates of black power? Massive Kosan Hirala Rambata Panwiki I never see they put tears in Massive and the eye. So the first two of Scotty and crazy, you must understand. All that them is bottom Africa. All you sell we out. Look how all your hard black people suffer all about. Are waiting on them for emancipation. Hypocrites, weak, lying, bottom Africa. Chucky did vex with Valley, but Chucky should apologize publicly, cause this hypocrite that she look. Valley was right to call all your muck, cause no woman who wears an Orini voted against the UNC, but Hazel Brown with she hair wrap up on Dukaran platform voting fuck up. How come Chucky never ever sing about this? No songs about this superior abortion and this, but he make Eric Williams famous and Patrick grieve. Any black government pound them till they leave. For 20 years, Patrick was the boss in the land. He lost. I went back to his humble home in Copeland. But in 6 months, come and show you one big map of bungalow. Oh, you should never ever treat Mr. Manning so. Shame on his Brown. Look how you have black woman head dragging on the ground. If Rosa Parks was alive here, where she'd I do? Put you in the back at the bus and fit on you. So, on you, Brown, I frown. Give back the African head wrap and gong. I'm so disappointed in you, woman. Another link for African. All you ain't ashamed. On this note, I must call Bona Centro's name. The way all you make is a cry. That's all you ain't got. Remember, Jesus Christ spoke on harlots and sluts. Take example from the Indian people. They still have Pastor Pandey on a pinnacle. So Cleveland Raphael, Andy Johnson, and sprang along. All of them is a liquid from Africa. All you sell we out. Look how all you have people suffer it all about. Are waiting for all you for emancipation. Hypocrite, weak, lying, lick, bottom. Remember Narayan Singh? People said he should swing. They even free Padma Sharma and Ram Logan want to destroy Abu Bakr. And in a taxi, I hear a man say, "Nation them ain't going away." But if it was a little black boy from Lavanti, he would have been on the plane already. And how come I ain't hearing anybody? Why they go protest like 1970, where is Kafra Kambon and Orogo Ome? The so-called conscious men, they had nothing to say. And sometimes it does really make me feel to cry when I see Macau dress up in three-piece suit with jacket and tie. If you forget round neck jacket, now we wearing big tuxedo. All you should never ever treat Mr. Money so. Is a set of fake for a couple $1,000. All the king will break. Dr. Fido Blake always used to tell me that the black man is the black man's worst enemy. The Ram Kipalani run the country. The driver can't drive when it was Robbie. I'm so disappointed in you, black man. Your white bearded late bottom African. All you ain't ashamed. Give back the African man his name. You should be complaining, praying to the office scene. You want to go up Lavanti and build a latrine. You'll find that black people must sit in the cold and Kamala could by remote control. I'm so disappointed in you, black man. All you said, but I'm African. I compare and contrast. And let me tell you fast. And in my conclusion, I see most black men as jack. But since the days of slavery, black man heart is hard like stone. Cause it's black man who make black man grow. Cause black man never like he old. That's why since last election, crow grieving. Look at how all you treat Patrick Manning. The way all you run him, cuss him and tell him go. I never see the Indian street bars they pan the so. When pan the thief and Mac Nicol switch pan the tail. Indians went and they candlelight vigil by the jail. So on behalf of a few good niggas that I know, or you should never ever treat Mr. Manning so. Shame on you, Daga, Errol McLeod and Ilram Cock and Obika. The way all you destroy the black brother, you are for prostitutes of black power. Look at how all you get weak. McLeod I now choking him, he could hardly speak. I'm so disappointed in you, black man. All you said, but I'm African. All you ain't ashamed. Give back the African man his name. You get a big white police commissioner. Where are the advocates of black power? Massive Osain Hirala, Rambata, and Wikijai. I never see they put tears in Mazep and the eye. So the first of Scabby and crazy, you must understand. All that them is but I'm African. All you sell we out. Look how all you have black people suffering all about. Are waiting on them for emancipation. Hypocrites, weak, lying, but I'm African. Chucky did vex with Valley, but Chucky should apologize publicly, cause this hypocrite that she look. Valley was right to call all your muck, cause no woman who wears an Orini voted against the UNC, but Hazel Brown with she hair wrap up on Dukaran platform voted till fuck up. How come Chucky never ever sing about this? No songs about this superior abortion and this, but he make Eric Williams, Chambers and Patrick grieve. Any black government pound them till they leave. For 20 years, Patrick was the boss in the land. He lost. I went back to his humble home in Copoland, but in 6 months, come and show you one big map of bungalow. All you should never ever treat Mr. Manning so. Shame on Hazel Brown. Look how you have black woman head dragging on the ground. If Rosa Parks was alive, here where she'd do. Put you in the back of the bus and fit on you. So, on you, brown I frown. Give back the African, the head wrap and gong. I'm so disappointed in you, woman. Another link for I'm African. All you ain't ashamed. On this note, I must call Bona Centro's name. The way all you make is a cry. That's all you ain't got. Remember, Jesus Christ spoke on harlots and sluts. Take example from the Indian people. They still have Pastor Pandey on a pinnacle. So Cleveland Raphael, Andy Johnson, and sprang along. All of them is a liquid damn African. All you sell we out. Look how all you have people suffer it all about. Are waiting for all you for emancipation. Hypocrite, weak, lying, lick, but I'm African. Remember Narayan Singh? People said he should swing. They even free Padma Sharma and Ram Logan want to destroy Abu Bakr. And in a taxi, I hear a man say, Ishan them ain't going away. But if it was a little black boy from Lavanti, he would have been on the plane already. And how come I ain't hearing anybody? Why they go protest like 1970, where Scafra Cambon and Orogo Ome? The so-called conscious men, they had nothing to say. And sometimes it does really make me to cry. When I see Macau dressed up in trippy suit with jacket and tie, he forget wrong neck jacket. Now we wearing the tuxedo. All you should never ever treat Mr. Money so. Is a set of fake for a couple $1,000. All the king gold break. Dr. Fido Blake always used to tell me that the black man is the black man's worst enemy. The Ram Kipalani run the country. The driver can't drive when it was Robbie. I'm so disappointed in you, black man. Your white bearded lick bottom African. All you ain't ashamed. Give back the African man his name. You should be complaining, Dwayne, should be off the scene. You want to go up Lavanti and build a latrine. You'll find that black people must sit in the cold and Kamala could sit by remote control. I'm so disappointed in you, black man. All you said, bottom African. All you said, we out. Look how all your black people suffer. It's all about. I hear Tobago and their own champions. I show Jack is a lick bottom. Thank you.
I, the bad man of Calypso, Coco, Mr. Weston Rollins, lick bottom Africans. We in Guyana call them lick beatty Africans, lick bamsy Africans. And we got plenty of them in Guyana, lick bottom Africans. I saw shame of some of the black man them. Good evening and welcome to Politics 101. You all know the mood that I'm in tonight. Lick bottom Africans, lick beatty Africans. It's only we that behave so, you know. It's only we. It's only we. It's only we. Well, it's some of we, not all we. But enough of we. Just make myself an ass. Lick bottom Africans. That's what the Trinity call them. Lick BT Africans, Guyanese call them. Lick bottom Africans. The mighty Crow. I wish we had more Calypsonians like that in Guyana. I wish we had more Calypsonians like that in Guyana. Good evening to all of you where you all are joining us from. Whether it's in Guyana or outside of Guyana, welcome, 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 welcome. It's Monday night, and where you're joining us from the United States of America, or you're joining us from Europe, Ashley and all the brothers and sisters up there who stay late at night. Stay up with us. Welcome to Politics 101. Lick bottom Africans sell out. All kinds of talk they're giving us as to why they're behaving like house slaves and slave catchers. We gotta talk it as it is. All you are joining us from Guyana, how about the good people at Linden? How about those of you joining us from the Essequibo Coast? Tragic fire there. Fire in Guyana every 2 days. All of you are joining us from the interior, Region 7, Region 8, Region 9. Welcome to Politics 101. It's a Monday night, and we are here, and we are going to be talking tonight about a number of issues. Corruption, land, all the lands, all the land them. We see, don't we see what's going on? Don't we see what's going on? All the lands, they're giving away. Happy History Month, Black History Month, and we're talking to Black people. Those of us who are on the right side of the fence, we're talking to you to help us to bring them lick Bamsi Africans on the right side of the fence.
Today's Black History Month hero is someone who turned his struggles into a success story, who saw obstacles as opportunities and employed a mentality of anything is possible throughout the course of his life. Today, we celebrate Dr. Ptolemy Reed. Dr. Ptolemy Alexander Reed was born on May 8, 1918, in Dartmouth Village on the Essequibo coast, where he was the youngest of 5 siblings. After the loss of his father at age 10, Reed would contribute to his family by working on their farm lot, in the sugarcane fields, and with local fishermen. This sacrifice would cause Reed to complete primary school very late. Ptolemy pursued employment as a pupil teacher. 5 years later, he took 2 years off to earn his teacher certificate at the Government Teachers Training Center, now Sarah Potter College of Education. He would later graduate from TTC in 1941, then return to his village to serve as a teacher at Dartmouth Anglican Village School. Reed left Guyana in 1949 to pursue a degree in veterinary medicine at the famous Tuskegee Institute in Alabama, USA, becoming the first South American student to graduate with honors from the institute. Dr. Reed returned to Guyana in 1955, where he would marry Ruth Chalmers and migrated to Canada after realizing that there was no job opportunity in British Guyana. In Canada, he worked for 2 years as a meat inspector and in private fieldwork. He would later further his studies at the University of London, where he was awarded the necessary degree for placement as member of the Royal College for Veterinary Surgeons. In 1958, Reed secured a position with Booker's Sugar Estates as Chief Veterinary Officer after being promoted to Board of Directors of the company. In 1960, Reed would grab the attention of former President Forbes Burnham, accepting his invitation to run as a PNC candidate in the Pomeroon constituency in the 1961 general elections. 3 years later, he was appointed deputy leader in the coalition government. During his 16 years as deputy leader, Dr. Reed held the portfolios of Minister of Home Affairs and Minister of Finance and Agriculture. In 1980, he was appointed Prime Minister under the presidency of Lyndon Forbes Burnham. He retired from his post in 1984, where he spent the time farming on his east bank of Demerara land. We salute the stellar contributions of Dr. Ptolemy Alexander Reed towards the development of Guyana, and we honor his tenacity in the pursuit for success. Join us tomorrow as we honor and celebrate 4-time Olympian Alien Pompey.
Dr. Ptolemy Reed, hello, real country boy, remembering Ptolemy Reed on this Black History Month, thanks to the staff of Channel 67, HGTV, and Sister Renata Burnett for doing this series. Ptolemy Reed, longtime deputy leader of the PNC, Prime Minister of Guyana, and a real son of the soil. The young generation may not even know that name, but that is how history rolls sometimes, and that is why we use these platforms to remind ourselves of the contributions of the men and women who have blazed the trail before us. We are here because of them. We salute Ptolemy Reed on this Black History Month. Welcome to all of you. Welcome. Welcome to Politics One. I'm talking about television. You all know that Channel 6, Sharma, has been sold to some PPP people. Gone. Channel 9 has been sold. Gone. Not to Africans. Gone. Channel 2. Gone. There are lessons to be learned. There are lessons to be learned. We in the opposition have no television channel, that we can call our own. We have no radio station that we can call our own. We had our government in power for 5 years. And as I always say here, I believe in the doctrine that the role of government is to look after its supporters, even as it looks after the rest of the country. Because the fact of the matter is, we are a divided society. We cannot depend on the PPP to look after Black people's interests. We can't. And I don't think Indians have ever fooled themselves that they can depend on a PNC-led government to defend their interests. That is the truth. Neither of the two races want to be led by the other. If they did, they would have voted differently. We have seen over and over and over that neither of the two races wants to be led by the other. So when you have a government of Africans, led by Africans, led by an African party, that government has a responsibility to right the wrongs that were done to Africans by the previous government. It's as simple as that. The PPP is never going to right the wrongs to Africans that they did to Africans. Never. That wrong will have to be righted by an African government, an African-led government. You know, my philosophy is that in these societies like ours, we have the responsibility to balance governance. Find a way to protect, defend the interests of those who vote for you, but do not in the process discriminate against those who did not vote for you. That is my motto. That is the WPA's motto. You have to find a way to right the wrongs that were done to your supporters without engaging in the similar discrimination. That is the challenge. But when we bury our heads in the sand, we are where we are. We are where we are. Look at the revelations of land. Only a couple of weeks ago, we were talking about the government passing a law to appropriate African ancestral lands. But look at the revelations of lands that the government has been giving out to its supporters, to alleged gangsters, mobsters, while black people living on a strip of land at Moko were bulldozed off that land because the government wanted to build a three-lane highway or four-lane highway. Bulldoze off that land, beaten off that land, destruction of their property, their livelihood, because the government want the land from some poor people, poor black people in Moko. So while they're beating poor black people off the land, destroying them, they're giving away the land to mostly Indian entrepreneurs, Indian gangsters. All you see? And when the matter went before the court made that ruling that the people at Moko deserve no compensation. You know, I am a respecter of the court. And I have argued with some of you here who feel that our court has not been even-handed. And I think in this instance, the court may not have been as even-handed as can be. All right, so the people were on government land. All right, they were there over a long period of time, which says that if you're there over a long period of time, you should have some rights to that land. Okay, so the government won the land to build a highway. The people decide they're not going to get off the land. The government come and beat them off the land. They don't come and reason with them, beat them off the land. And the matter goes before the court. And the court treat that matter as a normal matter. The court didn't say, look, these people were on government land. Yes, they did not have prescriptive rights, but a government cannot beat people off the land, destroy their property without compensation. The court could have said that. That is an even-handed court. Yes, if the court wants to conclude, let me repeat, that the people were on government land and government won the land and they should have gotten off. They didn't get off. The government come, kick them, beat them, bulldoze them, destroy their property, destroy their livelihood. The court couldn't say, okay, the people may have been wrong to have stayed on the land. But the government is 50 times more wrong to beat up its sin and destroy their property, destroy their livelihood without compensation. And this court is going to give them compensation. If must we say that they did not have prescriptive rights to the land, that would have been a fair decision. But no. And that is why people like myself cannot move on from defense of black people. Poor black people. The court, which is supposed to dispense judgment even-handed. Tell us how even-handed that decision by the court is. No, it's not even-handed. As the WPA asked at his press conference this morning, has the court now given license to the government to beat up people, destroy their property, destroy their livelihood in the name of quote-unquote development? Has the court now given license to the government to do that? When the officers, when the court looks and see what the government is doing to these lands, that they're beating black people and poor people off, what is the court thinking? When you see all the revelations of where these lands are going to, We cannot be quiet. We cannot be meek. We cannot be mild in the face of these grave injustices. The law is not a jackass. The law is not something that exists outside of the realities of the society. The role of the judiciary is to interpret the law and to serve as a referee and umpire between contending forces in the society. That is the role of the executive branch. I think we have to respect our courts, respect the integrity of our courts. But we have, in instances like this, to say the court has acted in a social blind manner, a class blind manner, a race blind manner, and may have put poor people and black people at the mercy of a government. What is the nature of this government? This is not a regular government. The court does not exist outside of Guyana. Does the court not know that this government has done the same thing at Linden? It has done the same thing at Hillfoot. It has done the same thing in front of the hospital, all over the place. Is the court using strict constructivism to interpret the law, and in so doing, exposing black people and poor people to the wrath of this government? Now, if black people and poor people, if the people at Makon all over the country cannot get justice from their own court, what will they do next? As human beings, they will seek their own justice. And then we will say, the violent, they're listening to wild people like David Hinds. I don't have to tell those people that when you lose faith in your government, when you lose faith in your National Assembly / your parliament, and you lose faith in your court, what happens next? What happens next? It is the law of the jungle that kicks in. If you're black and poor in Guyana, you're being brutalized by the executive branch of government with the collusion of the legislative branch of government, because the legislative branch is controlled by the executive. And then you don't have the protection of the justice system. You don't have the protection of the next branch of government, the judiciary. Then where are you left as a citizen? When your government, no branch of government, the executive branch kicks down your door, beat you, demolish your property, demolish your livelihood. The legislative branch refuses to pass law to prevent the executive branch from doing that to you. You then go for relief from the judicial branch. And the judicial branch gives you no relief. That court gave those people no relief. How can you watch poor people? Poor people. Their livelihood destroyed. Even if you reason that yes, they did not have prescriptive rights to the land. Even if you reason, if the court come to that, I don't agree with that. But if the court concluded that, yes, you don't have prescriptive rights. Yes, the government has the right, if it wants to use the land for public infrastructure, the government has the right, but does not have the right, the government does not have the right to brutalize its citizens. It does not have the right in no circumstances. I say no circumstances. Does the government have the right to destroy people's property without compensation? And to brutalize them and take away their livelihood? No court, I say no court that is worth its salt will say that. Yet, our court sits there and uphold the government side without recognizing that the poor black people have rights too. The government has authority and the people have rights. When there's a conflict between freedom and order, you have to balance it. The government is there to pursue order. The people have freedom. And here we have a conflict between freedom and order. And our court has come down on the side of order, not just regular order, but violence. The violence against the people. I am very clear. I'm an institutionalist in many regards. I've argued with many of you here since 2020 that we should not vilify our courts. And note, I'm saying the court, and I'm not saying the officers of the court. The Chief Justice is there as the court, the institution, not the individual. And I always try to tell you all, please make a differentiation between that. I respect the integrity of the court. I respect the integrity of the court. I do not believe that officers of the court should be demonized but when the court does what it does there, then people have a right to lose confidence in that institution. Black people cannot have confidence in the executive government. We cannot have confidence in a parliament where our parliamentarians are treated like dirt. Our women parliamentarians are called all kinds of names, dildo, whores, what have you. We can't have confidence in a parliament like that. And now, the last branch of government, which has the authority to look at all sides of the matter and to rule to the satisfaction of all sides. This is not an open and shut issue. This is an issue of government bullying people to get off public lands And people say, no, that's not how you do it. We are not going anywhere. And the government say, oh yes, we're going to bust your ass. I want the court to tell me where in the Constitution, tell me where in the statutes the government has the right to bust people's ass, take away their property, bulldoze their property. The court may be giving license now to the PPP to do exactly that. While they are bulldozing people's homes, taking away lands from black people and poor people, they are giving away lands to the Indian bourgeoisie. I'm calling it as it is, to the Indian bourgeoisie, the Indian rich. You're taking away land from the black poor to give it for nothing to the Indian rich. What kind of country is this? And some of you lick ass, lick BT black people are running around the place. I am campaigning for the return of Ali, President Ali, and lick backside. That's what you all are. All of y'all who into that shit. Y'all prefer to lick somebody else's ass and find everything that is wrong about black leaders. Aubrey Norton is not electable, but you all find somebody who beat it up on your mother, beat it up on your sister, electable. What kind of lick backside black man are you? David Hines ain't got no followers. Finding fault with your black leaders. You take Irfan Ali out of the PPP. You think he gonna get followers? Take Jack Dio out of the PPP. You think he gonna get followers? They didn't earn those followers. Those followers were given to them on the platter, a racial platter. At least, people like David Hines, we have to earn our followers. Aubrey Norton not electable. Putting Mohammed face and Nigel Hughes face. Mohammed president, Nigel Hughes vice president. What kind of fools are you? Look, personally and politically, and I don't like to go down this road because I don't have to defend myself. Personally and politically, I prefer the best leaders, regardless of race. But in a racially divided society, I cannot talk about best leaders. I have to talk about leaders of the different ethnic groups. If Guyana was all black, 99% black, our conversation would have been different. We wouldn't be talking about class. I'm sorry, race. We would be talking about class and other issues. But we are not. We are in a society where black people are fighting for their lives. And you go about the place saying how unelectable black people are. Crow is right. Lick bottom Africans. And you know what? You all know what? We are too nice. People behave in terrible ways when they know that there are no consequences for their terrible behavior. But if you know there are consequences for your behavior, you are less likely to behave in those ways. We are nice. All you nice. Those people, you shouldn't drink with them. You shouldn't say hello to them. Because they are what the Hindus used to call black people. They're untouchable. Diss them. Diss them. I hear some of them say, oh, some of the people who call me and tell me, do you think it's black people? I know people like yourself call you and tell you, do you think? Because all of you all are lick batty together. The thing is that a lot of these chaps, they're greedy. They're licorice. They're doing well already. They don't necessarily need PPP bribes. But they're licorice. They're greedy. I am prepared to cut some slack with poor people who got nothing and running behind Mohammed or the PPP for small change. I am prepared to cut them some slack. I am prepared to talk to them in a different way. I'm not necessarily going to call them ligbati. Yes, they're not doing right, but I will reason with them because they're driven by their wants. What are some of these big-toned men living comfortably? Why you going and stretch your hand? The people should chop your hand off. They should put the money in your hand and then chop your hand off. They're staining the black name. And you know what? When we win government, they're going to crawl back like nothing. You call them Nyaman traffic. Nyaman traffic, old people call them. They stretch them out like a balili. Y'all better make sure I don't be part of a government, because when they come to stretch them out, them mouth won't be mouth after them. Destroying the name of black people. I don't worry about their votes. Because even if 1,000 of them go, if we get 1,000 lick batty, 1,000 vote is not very many. But it is a psychological impact it is having on our people. Our young people have to look at black men and believe that is what we are. That's my daddy. That's my uncle. That's my son. Look, I don't care which party people join. You have a right to join whatever party you want to join. I'm not. I got friends who have been PPP since they're young people. And I respect them. People like Clinton, Collymore, and Belgrave, Shirley, Edwards, and Luncheon, and them, they've been in the PPP all the time. They take blows to the PPP. And I respect their right to belong to a political party, just as I respect the right of Indians who join the PNC or other opposition parties. I respect their right to act based on their conscience. So I'm not talking about them. I'm not talking about, the African brother or sister who has been in the PPP from forever, or the daddy and mama been in the PPP and they end up being in the PPP. No, I'm not talking about them. I'm talking about these lick asses, these lickety splits. Who decide that they want some of the action, they're for the hustle. It's them I'm talking about. I'm not talking about real PPP people. There have always been black people in the PPP. There have always been a few of them. But when people are coming into your community and put a rope around your neck like a donkey and cross you over and call you crossover, you're staining the name of black people, a proud name. At least some of the old slaves used to tell the freed slave when the master left in the plantation. At least some of the old slaves used to put things in the master food. At least some of the old slaves used to tell the freed slave when master sleeping. At least the old slave. So house slave is not even the name for them. The name is what Kroko give them. Lick-ass Africans. They're not even house slaves. We have to be frank with our people. They've been doing it for too long. They've been doing it for mainly the men. Mainly the men. Look, them brothers in Trinidad. You heard the Calypso they're singing? You, except for a couple of the Calypsonians, you go to the Calypsonians and they tell them, sing, no, but I can't do that, I ain't gonna get work. The PPP ain't gonna give me work. That is partly true. And it's also partly true that when we were in government, we did not see the racial light and did not recognize that whatever we do, we must never leave government with our people exposed, because they would be, you all know what, by the other side. I am prepared to give the coalition government a pass on almost everything, even some of the mistakes they made. The one thing I'm not giving us, because I was part of it, although not integrally part of it, the one thing I will not give us a pass with is that we left office with our people exposed. I once raised this issue with one of the ministers, and he told me, David, man, we people is 18 months people. We're going to give them a little thing 18 months before the election. I was so insulted. I was so insulted. They waited until the 18 months, and the 18 months, the people tell them is no confidence pass and you can't spend money. So we left our people without anything. I'm not prepared to let that slide. The reason I'm not prepared to let it slide is to ensure that we don't do it again. I love Brother Aubrey. I love Brother Nigel. But me and them gonna fall out if they try that shit again. We gonna fall out. I come into this earth and watch black people, watch my mama, my daddy, my auntie, my villagers, watch them suffer like dogs. And I'm not prepared to leave this earth seeing them suffer like dogs. It will be an indictment of my generation, an indictment of me. Do whatever it takes to stop that shit happening to black people. And I'm serving notice on Brother Aubrey and Brother Nigel and whoever else. Me and you're gonna fall out. I am not preparing my old age to tolerate that nonsense anymore. And you all have to raise your voices and tell them. You all don't have to tell me. I already tell you all where I stand. I am clear, if I get into government, what I am using government for. I am clear. You all don't have to tell me. But I hope you all tell the rest. Not to take you all votes and then tell you all, like Mr. It is not the role of government to find jobs for people. I don't want to call name because I don't want to personalize this. But some in the previous coalition government said that. It's not the role of government to find jobs for people. It's not the role of government to find jobs for black people. The PPP finding jobs for Indians, they are maintaining those jobs even if they got to break the bank to keep Gaisuko alive. It's wrong, but they're doing it for their people. They're doing it for their people. It's wrong what they're doing, taking money from the treasury to maintain a business that's not make profit long. But they're doing it for their people. Never again must teachers have to beg a PNC-led government for good wages. Never again should it happen. Never again. Never again must we leave office and leave our young people to the mercy of slave catchers. You all know where I stand. Some of you all will disagree with me. But even if it's one of you that agree with me, I'm good to go. I'm good to go. I've cried too much for black people. I've cried too much. All my life I'm crying for black people. Black man give black man soup. He say he want caviar. He want prawns. And in the end, he gets smoker in the ras. That's what Crow say. And that's what's happening to them lick batty that we get among black people. They're getting smoker in the ras. because the prawns going to the gangsters from New York and all over. And they're getting $2-3 million for put concrete strips for the villagers to drive on. And they're proud of it. We have to get tough. What the PPP is doing will stop tomorrow if black people decide enough is enough. I was on a program with Ravi Dev, me and Vincent. And Vincent and I are arguing that coalition is the way to go because we live in a multi-ethnic society and we have to live together and we have to find a way to govern together, to share the power, share resources together. And Ravi Dev and Betaram Ramarak look us in our faces and said black people must join the PPP. And then I said to them, so you all want us to assimilate? Talk some nonsense. That is what they're pushing. You have a choice between assimilating or cooperating. Assimilate means I join you in order to live. Cooperate means you there in your lane, I there in my lane, and we share the road. Assimilate means you take both lanes and you take away me car so I can't drive. And that's what the lick batty black people don't understand. You understand that? I want Indian people to live with dignity. I want Amerindian people to live with dignity. I want African people to live with dignity. I want mixed race people and the other people to live with dignity. Everybody must live with dignity. And everybody must have their lane. And we share the road. If you want to come over me road, you're on cause accident. If you want to come over and slave catch me people, trouble. At least from me and people like me. Ravi Dev, who once believed in power sharing. What is strange, brothers and sisters? What is strange? You know what is strange? Money, paisa. Money. Wealth. That is what has changed. And that is what changed in Ravi Dev and all the Indian comrades. And they're coming from a point that black people don't get money sense. We get small p sense. We don't get money sense. So in order for us to get 95% of the money, we give them 5%. And get them skinning that eat gill, and licking for 5%, and we get a 95%. They work it out. They've worked it out. It is the wealth. Ravi Dev is not a fool. Ravi Dev is a bright boy. Very bright chap. Very bright chap. But like all the others, he's hedging his bets. Because he loves his people like I love my people. The difference is that I will not be part of me people carrying away 95% of the wealth in the country and giving Indian 5%. No. That's the difference between me and Ravi Dev. And I don't want Indian people to come over and prostrate themselves before black people in order to live. That's the difference between me and Ravi Dev. I do not believe in racial domination, because I know all of us were created equal. Whether it's God created me or the ancestors created me, we were created equally. But if you start from the premise that we were not created equal, then we do not deserve any equitable treatment. And that's what my friends, Ravi Dev, and when I say friends, you all know what I mean. And they're the ideologues to the PPP. And Jack Joe makes no bones. He makes no bones. Ravi Dev is saying PPP is a coolie party, and some of the Ligbati Africans saying, oh, I come into the PPP and I don't see race. But the leader said it's a coolie party. And you, the Ligbati African, saying you're not enjoying, you're not experiencing racism. As Jack Dio would say, if racism hit you in your so-and-so, you won't know, because you are a nothing. You are a nothing. Sisters and brothers, I don't care, you know. I don't want nothing from the PPP or anybody. I'm not looking for stretch my hand. But it's easy for me to say that. Understand, poor black people who ain't got, they got to stretch their hand. The problem is, when they stretch their hand when we were in government, we didn't put nothing in their hand. And so we left them with their hands still outstretched. So people are coming now, put a penny in their hand and chop off their hand. That's what's happening in our country. This election is a fight, a big, serious fight. And if you all don't see it that way, you are missing the boat. Every day, the lady at GCOM coming up with something new. Now she said she want researcher, expert. Now she said she want biometrics at fingerprint at registration. We're not talking about fingerprint at registration. We're talking about fingerprint at the place of polling. That's what they're talking about. But she's coming up with excuse after excuse. And she's doing it because she can get away with it. If we put 10,000 black faces with some of our Indian comrades in Georgetown, game over. Game over. You're not doing nothing. Just 10,000 of us out there, just stand up. You ain't even got to do nothing. You ain't got to broke down nobody business. You ain't got to do nothing. Just go in Georgetown, 10,000 a week, and just stand up or sit down. Georgetown's closed. They can't run over all of we. Claret will give biometrics immediately. If my party had the money and the other resources that are needed to mass 10,000, 15,000, 20,000 people in the street of Georgetown, this would be over tomorrow. Yes, you don't put no party. When you see PPP, put them people on the road, They got to spend money to do it. When PNC put people on the road, they got to spend money to do it. Demonstrations cost money. So the reason that WPA can't do it, we ain't got money. Nobody don't give you no big money, no big businessman, no international donor, an international, not donor, financier. We depend on a small piece from you all to keep going, and thank you all for that. But if the parties with money and resources are ready to mobilize, the voice of the WPA will be there in the mobilization, because we can mobilize. They tell me, David, you to speak to the heart of black people. Damn right, damn right. I don't see black people just as voters. So I don't speak just to their head, speak to their heart. If we put 15,000 people on the streets of Georgetown, biometrics come tomorrow. And you don't have to do nothing. Just be there. Frederick Douglass said, force is not always the means to change. The threat of force. The use of force is not always what does it. It is the threat of force. When Dr. Martin Luther King would mass tens of thousands of people on the street, including school children, they were peaceful demonstrators. They didn't interfere with nobody. But the other side saw that as a threat of force. You have to use force. Why would I want black people to break up Georgetown? It's being able to build it back. It's being able to build it back. Why do I want black people to brutalize Indians on the road? That is feeding into the stereotype that we are savages. I don't want violence. I don't. It's defeatist. But I will not give up the threat of force. I buy if you only Igan, Abaygan, the threat. We have to build our capacities. And you all, wherever you all are, whether in the United States, wherever you all have to help us build the capacity. Because we have lost capacity. Our people are driven by fear. Our people are driven by fear. And the fear is partly because they have no confidence in us to protect them. That's where fear comes from. Fear comes from your lack of ability that you can be protected by your own. And so you develop fear. Fear is not natural. Fear comes as a result of the lack of courage, the inability to use courage, to employ courage. I don't want to go down in history as a coward. I didn't do it when I was 16, 17, and 18. They throw me in jail for 3 months and 3 years and 3 months. I was 20 years old. I wasn't a coward then, and I don't intend to be a coward in my old age. I did not encourage people to be cowards then, and I don't intend to encourage people to be cowards now. And no cyber law and thing will deter me. No, they can cyber this and cyber that. I'm saying I'm not giving up my right of self-defense. And I'm not urging our supporters, African supporters in the main, but all opposition supporters to give up your right to self-defense. We're not crazy people. If you were crazy people, black people would be walking through this world, killing everybody in sight, given what was done to us in slavery. And the fact that we don't walk around the place killing everybody in sight shows that we are rational beings. We are rational beings. And Guyanese are rational. Black people are rational. But you can't be rational and stupid. You can't be rational and coward. That's what I'm instilling in black people. Fight. I'm instilling that today so that I don't have to instill it tomorrow. We've got serious work ahead of us. A lot of that work will have to be done as guerrillas, meaning it will have to be done surreptitiously, because we got the lick batty them in we midst who gonna turn us over to the devil for a mess of pottage. We have reached the point where I think some black people are prepared to turn over their mothers to the devil for a little piece of shit, because they are a little piece of shit. We have some black people prepared to cut the throat. You know, when I'm in Guyana, I tell you, I don't look wrong for Indian people who come and do me anything, you know. I don't look over my shoulder for coolie people, as we would say in the village. I look over my shoulder for nigger, as we would say. I do not look over my shoulder for Indian people. I look over my shoulder for my own black people, because they will take a penny and cut my throat. I'm not saying an Indian man won't cut my throat. That's not what I'm saying. But there's some black men will cut my throat 10 times over for a $10,000 and a fried rice. That is where we have gotten. And where the Indian man is culpable is that he stays in the background and pays the black man to do it. So I'm not letting Indian people off the hook. It's not because Indian people don't come and cut me throat, they're let off the hook. No, they are paying black people to cut my throat. And they are even more culpable than the black man that cut my throat. I was telling my comrade the other day who was talking about corruption. I said, we live in a Guyana where we got some black people who like take bribe, and we got some Indian people who like give bribe. You hear me? Black man like take bribe, Indian people like give bribe. They're equally guilty. And my comrade asked me, he said, well, if the thing change and black people get plenty money and Indian people get a little bit money, I said, then black people will start giving bribe and Indian people will start taking bribe. What is the answer? The answer is we must create a situation where no side will have to give bribe and no side will have to take bribe. You can only do that when you have equitable distribution. We have heard stories of Indian people got domestic problems and they pay a black man for kill wife and pay a black man to kill the husband. You don't hear stories where black people are paying an Indian man for kill your wife or for kill your husband because of some problem they have. It's a high pass of black people. But that black people are prepared to behave in those nasty ways. And some of us excuse it. I'm not excusing it. I'm not excusing it. That's not how we were socializing on the slave plantation. But we have lost our way. We have lost our way. As I said, it's not any critical mass of black people. The majority of black people are in line. We have lost our way. But the impact that it's having, especially on the younger ones, especially on the younger ones. And some of you all well-to-do black people are no better. But why you all know, red-skinned nigger, black-skinned nigger, all of the same nigger. Red-skinned nigger, black-skinned nigger, brown-skinned nigger, mixed-skinned nigger, all is nigger. Because some of you all middle-class people full of shit. Aubrey Norton face black, so he can't be president. He don't smiley face sour, he can't be president. Since when the color of your face and whether you smile or not is good enough for president? But some of you all middle-class black people are into plenty shit. Y'all still with that class shit. Nobody has to tell me, I am very clear. If I wasn't Dr. Hinds, I couldn't be talking here tonight. The middle class will see me as loud, uncouth. And I'm sure that's the way many of them see me. But I don't give one shit. I don't give a shit. So it's not just poor black people who are into lick batty. Some of the rich black people, the middle class black people, the red-skinned black people, as we would call them, and I don't mean red just in pigmentation. Red is a philosophy and ideology. Where do you get off by deciding who's electable and who's not electable? Neither Aubrey Norton nor David Hinds should be punished because we were born poor. And Nigel Hughes and Kathy Hughes and some of the others should not be punished because they were born rich. All it means is that Nigel Hughes' parents escaped from the ghetto before my parents and Aubrey's parents. That's all it is. But when you're walking around the place and talking about who is electable and who's not electable, and we ask you, what is your criteria to arrive at that, you're talking some shit about where Aubrey drinking. Or Nigel don't drink. So Aubrey not electable because of way drinking. Nigel not electable because he don't come out and drink. You see, I will never allow myself to be caught in that trap. Never. You all gonna catch me with that. I want to be elected to make right the wrongs that have been done to black people and poor people. You all hear Indian people talking about Irfanali. Irfanali is what we call makeke, a makeke. But they make a makeke electable. And you all on our side are busy walking about and talking nonsense. We got to come together. Middle class, red skin, brown skin, black skin, all of we the same nigger. And them Indian people who may not consider themselves nigger in Guyana, when they come to America, you turn a nigger just like me. You turn a nigger just like me. Sometimes you gotta talk tough. I love my people. I love black people. How can I not love black people? I love black people. But sometimes we do nonsense. We talk nonsense. Give it little rum for drink, and you know. Sometimes we don't have to give it rum for drink. While the other side are getting with their program. We are talking shit about electable and electable and electable. What is nonsense but electable? We want our government to be electable. Our philosophy. Me had a big man friend named Kalipal. He said, Twiddle, if a fish come out of the trench and say his name Paul, I'm a family. If a fish come out of the trench and say his name Paul, I'm a family. He never called me Twiddle, he said Twiddle. My big man friend, Kalipal. Backhouse Paul, we call them in boxing. In this moment, all of us are involved, as Martin Carter would say, because all of us are consumed. Do I disagree with Aubrey on some things? Of course. Me don't like Aubrey, no one's position on street protests. But will I dismiss him and say he's not elected because of that? He and I can sit down and work that out. Because we're intelligent black men. Aubrey got to deal with some blackguard in the party. And you young people will know what is a blackguard. Aubrey got to deal with some blackguard in the party. And he got dance in order to survive in there. I don't have to deal with that level of blackguardism. I don't have to. So I'm free to say certain things. But give the brother some love. Give the brother some love. At a time when he needs it most. You can say you prefer Nigel. I know some of you all saying you prefer me. You can say that. You're within your right to say that. You think, I don't want you. I want more of you all to say you all prefer David Hinds and the WPA. But do not say I prefer David Hinds and WPA because Aubrey not electable. I don't want you. I don't want you. So there are qualities, political qualities that I see in Nigel or I see in David that I would prefer to see in the first among equals. I can live with that. Don't tell me you come in for like me because Aubrey not electable. You know, these things, and what are you saying? Black people, get a grip of ourselves. Get a grip of ourselves. And for those batty liquors, I say no more. We have to rid the black community of party liquors. That should be one of our objectives as we move into this election season. For too long, we've been tolerating them in the community. Too long! And we have to make them uncomfortable. Uncomfortable. I tell you, for going to kill nobody and beat up nobody. I believe in the Frederick Douglass philosophy. Force must be a last resort, but the threat of force must be permanent. Make them uncomfortable. I'm sorry. I'm sorry. I am very sorry, Leonard Craig. You're a good guy. I know you. I'm sorry. Mr. Bond, you're someone who I know look up to me, and I look up to you too. But you're deep and skin up right now. And if you dip and skin up, then you got tech skin up. You do not watch your people taking blows, and you are going to join with the blowsers? What kind of fool are you making yourself out to be? That President College that you've been to, free, good education. Those people that you are saying that you want to get them elected, you think that they made it possible for you? The PPP come to you and try to bribe you, tell them, wait, come back tomorrow. We get a by name Ral in boxing. Ral is differently challenged. Wonderful guy. Ral at every party dress up nice. He at every funeral. Me I know Ral does no funeral and thing. When Ral get the chicken and you go to Ral said, no, you come back tomorrow. So then by tell me, then by say, you and Ral are right, because give Ral his mad with the party, me buy beer free and so on. And by say, Ral will give you chicken. Let me go to Ral. Ral say me go vote for you, but me not give me chicken. Come back. Come back. Wisdom is tricky the sacred to him. If I finally come and tell you, by me gonna give you a little bribe, come and endorse me, say no, come back next year. I need a little bribe, but no, my people is undergoing the whiplash of you and your government, and I can't do it. Tell them you go pray for him, but you don't want the money. You know what Ral tell me? Bumba, Ral tell me he go vote for me, but he not give me chicken. See me tomorrow. at least we can laugh. But this is no laughing matter. The Lion of Judah shall break every chain and give us the victory again and again. I want to send this video to Jack Dio or whoever they want to send it to. And let them see me in all my glory. Mobilizing my people to push back against the devilishness. When I go to church, I'm going to pray for them. I pray for God to break their backbone. That's what I'll pray for them for. I pray for God to break their political backbone. That's what I'll pray for them for. You see thieving happen. Thieving happen. And you sitting down there and saying, the man satisfy you that is not thieving money. It may not be thieving money, but who give you, Mr. Jack Dio, the right to determine whether it's thieving money or not? You're pillaring Nigel Hughes for some land in the bush. But people who get prime land, you're saying they get it. They get it legally. But you're assuming that Nigel Hughes get it only illegally. Just have an investigation, an impartial investigation, and let the Guyanese people know the truth, what you all been doing with our land and our money. You are not going to use, we know you're not going to lose many Indian votes for what you're doing. But what you're doing going to drive more black people to come out, to vote you out. And you know that. Me had an Stichan Strubidi, you know. I people say, let me go expose Jack Dio so the Indian people gonna guess. Indian people know what's going on, you know. Indian people aren't stupid. Indian people know what's going on. They know the corruption. They know the PPP rigging because it's them, the PPP, that's called upon to do it. They know. They don't need me and Aubrey Norton and Nigel to tell them. They know. But the people who just get their head in the mud and play they don't those black people. And it's them we got to act to. I want the truth to come out, not for Indian people. The Indian people don't know the truth. Indian people don't know the truth. I think Indian people stupid. Are you think so? Then people know what's going on. But they've made a decision. I better me go with me thief than go with my neighbor thief. It's better me go with me thief than go with my neighbor thief. They make that decision. Clear decision. Are you black man gonna make your decision? Talking about Nigel get land in bush and Nigel did this and thing. Nigel may not want to say it, but they're going to have to because he's a black man. I can say it because I can say it. Me ain't got no middle class body gonna call me and say, David, you want thing then me. Tomorrow night, my partner gonna be here. Dr. Jeffrey, I gotta try and get them lady on before the end of the week. Girl from Moko, Nima. I gotta try it. I ain't get what she name on for a long time. Coretta. And we gotta get Vincent, because he did break up last week. So we got a full week ahead of us. But we keeping the pressure going. We keeping the pressure going, and we talking straight talk here. Straight! No water in my mouth. No water in my mouth. Again, the words of my mouth, the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight here tonight. By the rivers of Babylon, where we sat down, and there we wept when we remember Zion, for the wicked carry us away captivity. Never again must the wicked capture us. We are better than that. Them who want to go and get captured, shove them. They want to go in the shithouse, shove them in the shithouse. If they want to go in the pit, shove them, because we don't need them in our community with a stinking self. Shove them, because they will stink up our villages and our communities. We don't need them. Put them in the shit that they got there, because that's where they belong. Sometimes you have to cut. You have to cut some of them loose